Hi everybody and welcome to Nanny Tumble's Storytime channel. Now today, a word of caution. This story has a happy ending, but it is a sad story and lets us know that not everyone has an easy and comfortable life. So, if you would rather not listen to this story, just skip to another. Easy peasy. And for those of you who would like to stay listening, the title of today's story is Jeannie Falls Behind with Her Schoolwork. Let's begin. Jeannie's alarm clock rudely interrupted her deep slumber. She was sure she had only just gone to bed. But here was her alarm, as loud as a train's klaxon, hurting her ears and letting her know it was 7:30 a.m. Time to get up. Jeannie tiptoed from her bedroom to the kitchen, put the kettle on and popped some bread in the toaster. Jeannie sighed. There were only 2 pieces of bread left, and she wanted to toast these for Mum. She had checked the money tin in the cupboard last night and had found it empty. She wouldn't be able to nip to the corner shop to buy some bread, so she would just have to do without breakfast. Jeannie walked carefully to her mum's bedroom, trying hard to balance the cup of tea and plate of toast on the tray. She put the tray down and rapped her ruckles on Mum's bedroom door. No response. Jeannie's heart sank and her eyes began to water. Jeannie knocked again. Mum, Mum, it's me, Jeannie. I've brought you some tea and toast. Again, no response. The tears now began to trickle down Jeannie's cheeks, and she could taste their saltiness on her lips. Jeannie didn't like disturbing her mum, but she had to know her mum was okay before she went to school. She pushed the door gently, picked up the tray, and stepped quietly to Mum's bedside table where she placed the tray. Jeannie's mum was huddled under the bed covers, and Jeannie nudged her softly. Mum, it's morning. I've brought you a nice cup of tea and toast. No response. Again, Jeannie softly nudged her mum. Then Mum slowly blinked her eyes open. Jeannie, love, is that you? Yes, Mum, it's me, Jeannie, and I've brought you some breakfast. I'll need to be off to school soon. Mum struggled to get into a sitting position, and Jeannie helped bolster the pillow behind Mum's back. You're such a good girl, Jeannie. What would I do without you? Can't you stay at home today and keep me company? Jeannie felt a deep sadness, but also panic overcome her. She just couldn't miss school. She had her year 6 SATs in a couple of weeks, and she was so worried about being behind in her schoolwork. Jeannie knew her teacher had noticed, because a few times over the past weeks she had called Jeannie to her desk to ask if everything was okay. Each time Jeannie had said, "Of course, miss, I'm good." Well, her teacher had said. "If you need to talk about anything, you know I'm here." "Thanks, miss, but I'm okay," Jeannie had replied. Jeannie didn't want to tell anyone about what was happening at home. Mum had just been lying in bed for 2 weeks now, crying, staring into space and sleeping. Her skin had a pasty pallor and she was beginning to smell a bit. Jeannie had been making her food, but Mum only nibbled a bit. And when Jeannie encouraged Mum to get up, have a shower and get dressed, Mum would only pull the duvet up around her and whisper, "No, Jeannie, leave me for now." Jeannie had been too embarrassed to tell her friends, but now she was really beginning to worry. It was just Jeannie and her mum. They had no relatives, and Mum had stopped seeing her friends months ago. Jeannie took her mum's hand in her own. "I'm sorry, Mum. I can't stay with you today. I've got my SATs soon, and I haven't been keeping up with my schoolwork." Jeannie could see the disappointment visibly transform her mum's features. Her cheeks sank, her mouth drooped, and tears started to fill her eyes. "Okay, love," she mumbled. "Off you go then." Jeannie hesitated at the bedroom door as she left. "Mum, do you think you should see the doctor?" "No, Jeannie, I'm fine. No need to bother anyone. Off you go." Anxiety overwhelmed Jeannie as she stumbled along the pavement to school. She felt so low. It seemed that worrying had taken over her whole life. Worrying about Mum, worrying about having no money, worrying about not doing well in her SATs. She felt trapped inside her thoughts and her emotions, but she just didn't know how to fix things. Jeannie arrived late at school and had to go through the office to register. She knew that her eyes must be red and her skin blotchy from crying, and she willed herself to put on a happy face so staff wouldn't notice how upset she was feeling. As Jeannie hurried along the corridor to her classroom, she faltered as she saw her teacher and Mrs. Magdalene from the pastoral team talking quietly. They looked up as they heard Jeannie. "Ah, Jeannie, wonderful girl. I know you are a tad late, but I'd like you to join me in my office. We can have a biscuit and a little chat." Jeannie looked to her teacher for reassurance. Her teacher smiled and said, "That's fine, Jeannie. You go with Mrs. Magdalene and I'll see you in the classroom soon." Jeannie and Mrs. Magdalene sat on the comfy beanbags in her office, eating jammy dodgers. "Now, Jeannie, you know I am always honest and I want to be completely truthful with you. Each time I've seen you in the last few weeks, you have looked so unhappy, and your teacher is worried about you. She said you've been late a few times, which is unusual for you. She's noticed you've been getting quite thin. And because she has such high hopes for your SATs results, she is concerned that you aren't concentrating so well in class. Staff on lunch duty have also noticed that you are spending a lot of time on your own in the playground. Please don't worry, Jeannie. You are not in trouble. I just want to ask you if anything is on your mind and if you need any support. Jeannie's lower lip quivered and she could feel the tears welling. She knew she should tell Mrs. Magdalen, but she felt that if she did, she would be betraying her mum. Mrs. Magdalen drew a tissue from the tissue box and handed it to Jeannie. Take your time, Jeannie. A problem shared can be a problem solved, you know. And even though I say it myself, I'm rather good when it comes to coming up with ideas for solutions to problems. The tears were no longer welling, but flowing down Jeannie's face. And through her sobs, she began to tell Mrs. Magdalen about everything that was worrying her. Mrs. Magdalen sat patiently listening to Jeannie, while all the time thinking of ways to support Jeannie going forward. I tell you what, Jeannie, why don't we get one of your friends from class and you can both go and spend some time in the sensory room, listening to music and just relaxing. I think that would do you good. Yes, miss, I'd love that, please. Mrs. Magdalen spent the morning liaising with her colleagues until they came up with the best plan they could to support Jeannie. A few weeks later, Jeannie sat at her desk in the hall, waiting for the first of the maths SATs papers to be handed out. She was feeling content and confident. As she looked back over the past weeks, she was so grateful to all the brilliant staff at school. Since speaking with Mrs. Magdalen, Mum was spending some time in hospital. She had been diagnosed with depression, but she was getting better. Social services had helped Mum catch up with making sure her universal credit was going into her bank account, and Jeannie was now able to withdraw small sums of money from the bank's ATM to help with shopping. And the reason she was sitting here in the hall today feeling confident was because her wonderful teacher had arranged some intensive tutoring to help Jeannie prepare for her SATs. The end. Now, I want you to think about what you might have learned from today's story. Yes, a problem shared is a problem solved. Don't be worried or too proud to share your problems. Just do it. The world is full of amazing people who want to help. Okay, a kiddie wink and a life lucky wink to you all. Bye for now from Nanny Tumble. Bye.